Okay. Test. I think we're live. Everything looks good. So, good morning, people. Good morning, traders. It is Friday, September 12th, and I'm a little behind schedule today. We missed market open. Had a wild night where a massive storm pushed like a 50-foot aspen tree over my house. I had to prop it up with like 4x4s and straps, and I used my tractor to pull leverage on it, and then we had to get up in the tree, climb it, limit. Uh, Anyways, wild night. We're working on felling a tree in the middle of the night, and yeah, me and my neighbor and a local tree cutter guy who came over at 8 o'clock at night. We were working in the dark, and he wouldn't even charge me to help us. So it's pretty cool. Gotta love good people, good neighbors. You know, that's what this world is about. The world is not about hate. The world is not about, I'm not going to go down that path so early in the morning. Let's take a look at the charts, folks. So I have zero bias other than bullish. I guess I said that because I hadn't even looked at the charts. I have no bias because I haven't even looked at the charts. But then I glanced over here and saw that we haven't taken buy side. So sell side's been taken. My charts, you can see, are not even cleaned up from yesterday. I apologize for that. So the 4-hour here is consolidating. And yeah, we have news at 10 a.m. this morning. So let's get that on the main chart over here. I like I have this little, just as a reminder, I have this news indicator that draws these lines for me. So 930 came down, took these equal lows, and looks like it wants to form a breaker, potentially. So we'll keep that marked out, just kind of anticipating a bullish breaker. Want to look for some SMT. SMT is just when the assets are moving differently, just like this right here. Or sorry, that's not it. I am slow today. Here we go, SMT. So lower low, higher low. Like that. As compared to that. And then the similar thing on NQ is so we do have SMT. I also woke up 2 or 3 times during the night because the storm kept raging on and making me a little slow today. So we have London lows taken on YM. Not ES. And not NQ either. So it doesn't even look like if I'd been around for 9:30 open, there wouldn't have been a trade for me. So no big deal there. No big deal. Didn't miss much. And I'm not taking trades in the 920 and 940 macro. I sometimes call it the 930, but that zone of time right there, no go. So what's there to do? Let's see, we're outside of the time windows, the macros. We have 2 minutes until the 950. There is no inversion for me yet. Brutal. This blue line here is the midnight open. And this dashed vertical line is midnight. So at midnight, 12 o'clock, opening price, blue line. And if we think about that like an hourly open, 15-minute open, 4-hour candle open, we think about it just like that. So here price opened, it pushed higher, manipulated below the open. This is where you would want to be long, buy below the open. And it looks like a beautiful setup down in here probably. But so that was the move. That was the smart money reversal for the day probably. And then we're looking at continuation here for the New York session. The purple box is London. So London high was taken, came back down, took some internal liquidity down in here. We did take previous day high. So that was taken at 9:30-ish. Yeah, it looks like 9:30. So that was a liquidity sweep. That could signal for lower prices. Maybe London low, maybe. Let's take a look over here. So here on the daily chart, that's still the target up there. Is this high right here? Kind of forming a volume, a volume imbalance at the moment. And here's the whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on a 30-minute chart. Generating tons of liquidity down in here. So in my head, I'm thinking once it takes that all-time high, that's when it's going to come down for the rest of this. Doesn't have to. It could leave it for later. But typically, when it's this close, it's going to take it. We do have these relative equal highs across here. It took those. So that kind of signals it's possible that it's going to leave this high alone for now. My paper trading. All right, so over here in the 15-minute chart, we have the new week opening gap is the yellow box here, or new day opening gap, excuse me, from the 11th. It's kind of just consolidating around it. So the 2 a.m. candle came down in here, took all this liquidity. 4 a.m. or the 6 a.m. candle took the buy side liquidity. And the way it's, 7 minutes to close, it looks like it wants to close a little bearish. Here on the 1 hour chart. So this was the drawn liquidity from yesterday. This is what it would have been for the locally, would have been right here. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find why it might be bearish, why it might be bullish. I want to look at both sides of it. I'm leaning bullish, just immediately was. But I want to look at it both ways. All right, coming back to the 1 minute chart. We're in the 950 macro, so Excuse me. 6 minutes until the news. The 10 a.m. news is prelim consumer sentiment, UOM consumer sentiment, and UOM inflation expectations. Those ones are not usually huge movers. But price isn't really wanting to move. I guess one could argue that this volume imbalance is an inversion because it's an inverted volume imbalance. Pretty dang close. Volume imbalances are stronger than inversions even. And could do something like, oh, I see that's right there. Gotcha. Whatever. Should we do that? We're just gonna paper trade this. For a little bit of fun, we'll just paper trade it. So close above the volume imbalance, close above the breaker. That's 1.5. There's 2R. Don't have any targets above. Just kind of waiting, seeing what happens. We have 2 minutes till the red folder drops, so that's not even one standard deviation. The 2R, take profit, so 1 risk to 2 reward. And the new, also at 10 a.m., we have a new 1 hour candle, new 4 hour candle. We're below 8:30 open, we're below 9:30 open. I'm assuming the New York session is going to be continuation here. We have 35 seconds until news drops. And if so, if we get a closure above this volume imbalance breaker setup, then I'll paper trade this long. I'm not going to put up real risk today. So close above the volume imbalance, news drops. Let's see what this candlestick does. Stop hunt to sell side. And it might start running. We'll see. Here's the idea. I'm just going to move that to the side. One hour closed is a compression candle. The 4 hour did close with a bullish closure. Still having targets intact to the upside. How much movement did that news candle give us? About 120 ticks. So far, it's going to close in 7 seconds, so we'll see. The only downside to this is this liquidity was swept right here. I don't like this. This is not a solid signal for the long. I would have preferred if this didn't happen. But I see it a little more bullishly than bearishly. Really, what do we got right there? This rejection block. So I'm noting this wick on this candlestick right there. Time-wise, it's 10:02, so we're in the 9:50 to 10:10 macro. I probably look like I have a frown on my face, don't I? It was just a late night. I'm happy though. 15 minutes, ugly. Look at that. But I still have I still want bullish delivery. So here, this candle's just gonna run. Look at that. Nope, come on. Don't go too far. This kind of thing. Nope. We'll do it with a paper trade. Oops. Accidentally closed the order. So poor entry there. Well, not poor, it's just I marketed in to fix what had happened. And I don't really care on a paper trade. I try to be somewhat realistic. Like if I was trading a 250K, I could push it to this kind of risk. But here, I don't see price coming down too far below this gap, so we'll do this. And let's see what happens. Clean this up here just a little bit. It's just not wanting to move. It's retesting this breaker here. High resistance. Friday. It was one of those situations where I want to take partials, but I don't because it's not my rules. Like, let's do this. We'll do some roughly 1R, but not quite. See if it pops up into there. I'll probably move my stop up, and maybe then I'll extend my targets from that breaker. I'll take partials here and there. If it does it, it might not. Look around here on the 15-minute. Starting to look nicer here on the 15-minute. A close above this would make a nice order block. You can see on the 1 hour it hasn't been wanting to push up. On the 4 hour, I'm assuming this is the wick, or excuse me, going to be the tail of the candle. The wick's the top side, tail's the bottom side. I'm assuming we're coming up here for the external range liquidity up there, and that's the thesis is internal range liquidity was taken here at 2 a.m. Here's a fair value gap, and we'll continue higher. So that's the idea. Let's see what actually happens. Take a partial here a little before, way before 1R, but there's such a significant level here. I want to take a partial. And yeah, this is a paper trade. It's Friday. I don't feel like trading, excuse me, live funds today. I had a wild night last night too. Not a crazy night. I'm not a crazy person. But aspen tree fell over above my house last night, and we had to deal with it in a storm. So crazy wild night. Up late. And then the storm woke me again at like midnight, and then like 2 a.m. or something. Realized I had left a bunch of tools that couldn't be out in the rain. Had to go get those. Realized in the fiasco of the tree that UPS had dropped packages off that were left outside in the rain. Had to go get those. And actually, I think I took one partial trade this week, so I didn't want to end a Friday on a real loss. And this is fine by me. I'm all for practicing. So I want to see price move. This is some high resistance right here. And what's happening is this is starting to generate liquidity, opposing my idea. I don't like that. I like this stop hunt right here we had at 10 a.m. But now it's starting to build up more liquidity. Keeps wanting to retest these series of breakers. You know, so here's a breaker. Maybe there's a breaker. Here's a breaker. So I want to see some normal movement in these candlesticks. They're not moving normally. We'll note this this pool of liquidity right there. We have some minor buy side. Time-wise, just outside of the 950 macro. We shall see. I was just noticing my tired face. I look so angry. I'm sitting here, I'm like kind of catching myself in the corner of my screen over here, the preview over here, and I'm like, wow, when I'm tired, I look angry. I promise I'm not. I just need the coffee to hit. All right, so coming down, retesting this fair value gap. See this kind of distribution here, how these candles are stacking nicely, moving, making some movement, not taking forever to move up or down. That's what I wanted to see bullishly after this stop hunt right here. Okay, so we do have an SMT here on the bearish side. Why isn't my cursor showing across all screens? Right here. So ES took London high and now it's sending it down. So this for me is where I want to see it turn around. I give a little bit of room below the gaps with my stops. I don't use swings. Sometimes it stops me out and goes my direction if I don't use the swing, but more often than not, it doesn't matter to me. But closing below this gap, that then tells me we might be off sides. So ES did the stop hunt. Here's my model in reverse. Curious to even just play with this here. It might be one of the situations where it did get me by a tick or two. YM is just going sideways in seek and destroy mode. Now look at this. ES looks bearish to me. It's just not wanting to move now. Look at that. Look at this sell side distribution was quick and efficient. Sell side was quick and efficient. Buy side was high resistance. Same thing here. Sell side quick, buy side slow. Interesting. So we'll just play here. Same thing, just assuming like a re-entry here. I forgot to check to see if it's inside of my macro. Oopsie. We're just playing today. We're just paper trading. So here might have been one of the situations where I was saying maybe I could have, it would have been no big difference to have, I think my stop loss was like right here. I could have put it below that candle body, right there and been a little bit safe. I like to study those kind of things later on, but I don't typically use the full swing for a stop. I also think it might not want to go anywhere today. It's Friday. 9:30's distributed. The news event happened. We still haven't even left the opening range, which is actually this minor buy side to this sell side right here. So let's see what ES and YM are doing. So they're uncorrelated. YM is coming down. NQ going up. ES is sideways more or less with a little bit of a push up. And then looking here at the 1 hour, just noticing how wicky this price action is right here. It's really not wanting to move. Maybe starting to move now, but it hasn't wanted to. All right, so, oh right, I was gonna have a TP somewhere over in here. I was gonna sell 8 at that previous high right here. Okay. Moving my stop up. Noting this tailless candle right here. Don't even have in my long position. I'm going to put it back on the chart here. And I think I'd had it probably about right like there, so. Okay. Cleaning this up a little bit. And my second attempt was here. Where was my stop? Initially down below here, I think. And I was going to target 3R. More, was I? There's 3R. We'll just that there. So minor buy side was taken. All the previous high was the all-time high. I think that's what that is. That's the previous all-time high. The previous month's high on NQ was taken. You know, one thing I thought about too when I was placing my stop is I noticed this trend line forming. And I'm not a trend line trader, but in my head I was like, I think I should expect a deeper retracement. And I should have used that as a clue to expect a deeper retracement than normal, seeing this trend line forming. Because this is building trend line liquidity for later. So in my head, I can see it, you know, kind of continuing this trend line for a little while. But we'll give it a little bit of wiggle room. Let's make this a little funner. We'll sell one here. We'll sell one here. We'll sell one here. We'll leave this for 2 standard deviations. Sell one there. Why not? We'll make it a little bit funner. So this one's placed right before the Asia second standard deviation. Now, I'm actually feeling like there's a stronger chance that it's gonna pop up in here and then come back down for liquidity down in here, I think. Could be wrong. Just because this all-time high was taken, I'm imagining it's going to come back in, do some more damage down in here before continuing on further. I don't think it's just going to keep ripping. Could be wrong. Could be totally wrong, of course. Can't really see with these silly orders here. Curious to see if we got what's something meaningful that we could measure and find some targets from. This 1 hour breaker, we can measure that. Or a 15-minute.